think I might have some problems with the stream. So hi everyone, Microbehunter here. Can you please inform me if the stream works, because I got a strange error message. Okay, are you able to hear me? Okay. Are you able to hear me here? Looks good. Yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, finally it seems to work. I'm very relieved. Okay, because I got a strange little error message a couple of seconds ago, and but I think we're online now. Audio also seems to be fine. I see that people are starting to join in right now. And yeah, I would like to say hello, welcome to everyone. And I'm glad that you found this live stream, because I used in the previous weeks and months, I made the live stream in my other channel. But the other channel, yeah, as I'm making more and more microscopy videos about living things and observation, I decided to move those videos more into the main channel, and reserve the other channel a little bit for, yeah, when I do microscope reviews and so on. But in any case, I'm happy that you found me. Okay, yeah, there are lots of people already, mentioned that they are here and that they're able to hear me properly, and yeah. I'm happy that you found the channel again. Well, what do I want to do today? Today's topic are face mites, or also known as Demodex Face Mites, and you're able to see one over here. Yeah, okay, people are wishing me a happy birthday already. Okay, thank you very much for that. How do you even know about that? So yeah, Demodex Face Mites, as you can see over here, yeah, this here is a time-lapse video, but I'm actually going to show you some real one, also under the microscope, of course. And I got this Demodex Face Mite today out of my hair from my eyelashes, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. I said last week, okay. About the birthday. Okay, yeah, so, and I'm going to show you now a little trick, I wouldn't say trick, a little method how you can extract those face mites from your own skin, and how you can put it under the microscope. It's a little bit of a challenge, I have to tell you. Maybe if you joined in last week when I did the tardigrades were already not so easy to find, and if they're not so many around, but face mites are on a different level, and they're even more challenging. And yeah, I have a German accent because I'm actually from Austria in Europe. Okay. So this is basically the reason. So, and the thing is that the face mite, basically, pretty much everyone has them. And I know that some people consider this to be a little bit an uncomfortable idea, to know that there are tiny microscopic animals living in the hair, hair follicles of your skin. But they're completely harmless. They don't do anything, and people already contacted me in the past. What can you do to remove them? And I said, why do you want to remove them? I mean, they're just a normal part of our healthy skin. Unless there are too many of them, then you can get a red skin. But pretty much everyone has them, especially as you're older, you have more of them. Yeah. So basically what I would like to show you today is a little method on how you can try to find them yourself. It is a challenge. You need a lot. There's 3 rules really. Rule number 1 of finding face mites is patience. You need a lot of patience. Rule number 2 is patience, and rule number 3 is also patience, because they're not the density often is not very high, and you have to sometimes sit maybe 20 minutes, an hour under the microscope and carefully look for them. Okay, so what I will do right now, as always, is I will always quickly pause a little bit and go through the comments section. If you're new to these types of live streams, you can of course type questions in the live chat. Even if they're not directly related to the topic, if they are not completely unrelated to microscopy, I will still attempt to answer them. Okay, and I might, even though I'm reading all of the comments, I might not read all of them out loud. Okay, So yeah, so people are saying hello from all over the place. It's become already a tradition that people introduce themselves because it's kind of nice to see, yeah, that the microscopy is enjoyed around the world. Okay, have you found any findings from the beach? Yeah, I don't have. If you're asking me about this, I'm not living next to the beach. Okay, and yeah. So there are people saying hello. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hello from Paris. Okay. I'm just reading everything because I don't want to forget anything. Yeah. Yeah. It's 1 a.m. Some people are, yeah, so 2:30 a.m. Some people are really staying up quite late. And currently, you might not know about this, but there's also the Eurovision Song Contest going on live right now. So many people might also be watching that at the same time. But what I would like to do is the following. This here is a time-lapse video, as I already said, and I'm going to show you now this one over here. And this one is one that you're seeing right now under the microscope. It does not look quite as nice for two reasons. First of all, the magnification is not quite as high. And I cannot go more than 20 times because I do not have a cover glass over this face mite. Okay, and a little bit dangerous because then there's the danger that you're actually dipping the objective into the oil, because I actually put some vegetable oil on here. I'm going to show everything. Okay. But I just wanted to show you now also that it actually is moving, and I just extracted this one, I don't know, maybe about 20 or 30 minutes ago. Was quite lucky that I was able to find it. Yeah, it's basically not moving forward because it is not able to grip on the smooth slide. But before I actually show you how to extract it, I would like to talk a little bit more about those face mites and what they are. In this channel, I already made a couple of other videos about face mites where I actually showed you also a little bit some background information here. But essentially, it's like this, that they were discovered, I think, in 1842 by a doctor. Where he simply, a patient of his had some kind of red skin, and he simply put some of the oil and fat that he extracted under the microscope, and he saw many of those face mites. And at the beginning, he didn't know what they were. Actually, I read the original publication, and he was kind of wondering, what is this? I mean, is this some kind of an insect? And then he talked to a mite specialist, and then they decided that these are actually not insects; these are mites. Because they have 8 legs. Difficult to see over here, but over here in this video you can actually see the 8 legs quite well, and therefore they decided that this must be a mite. So yeah, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of legs. One of the nice video things here on this video is that you're actually able to look into the body of the face mite as well. And you might be able to see those tiny lines here. So there are segments. But one of the interesting things is that a face mite does not have a digestive system. So it's not like this, that it's eating something here in the mouth and then expelling it on the back. But rather, apparently, if it's absorbing nutrients over its body. Right, and it's feeding on fat, and it's also ingesting it, and it's growing, but apparently it does not have an anus, so to say, in the classical sense. So maybe it does have a digestive system because it's able to eat the fat from the skin, but it's a little bit different, the organs here. Yeah, back in 1842, I think his name was Gustav Simon, the doctor, when he discovered this, and he wrote a publication about that, and he made drawings of those face mites, and they discovered in the meantime several species of those. And I'm going to also show you how you can extract them. Okay, there are plenty of videos online about face mites. Many of the videos are, oh my gosh, there are mites in your face, and how horrible, and so on. But in reality, they're really a normal part of our skin, and people kept on emailing me, oh my gosh, what can I do to prevent them, and how can I kill them off? And I said, why do you want to do that? They do come out at night to mate. So it could be one possibility would be maybe that you try to collect them early in the morning, but yeah, when they're out and then they crawl back into the skin. And unless there are too many of them, yeah, you won't even notice that you have them. People who are older have more of them because their skin is more oily and fatty, and therefore there is more food for them. Okay, so what I'm going to do again is I'm going to look here. Okay, you featured this in a few videos in this channel. Yes, I did, and I decided to give it another try. And as a matter of fact, today in the morning, I actually wanted to. I decided to do a different live stream. Actually, I wanted to put some honey under the microscope to extract the pollen, but there were no pollen in there, so it was rather disappointing, and therefore I decided I had to find another topic. That's why I ended up with the face mites again. Is it more likely to find face mites when the face feels itchy, not recently washed, or after outdoors hike? I probably would say, I mean, I can imagine, I don't know about the itchiness so much, but if there is, if you of course wash your face, especially with hot water, and when the pores open, then it could, I guess, I don't know, but I guess it could be that some of those are also flushed out. But on the other hand, they are in the follicle of the hair. So yeah, they have to actually crawl out as well. Yeah? Hi from the UK. Just wanted to say huge thank you. You are fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the thank you. Okay. And yeah, I also want to talk a little bit about this because yeah, the question has come sometimes is why am I doing this these live streams and the microscopy channel. I mean, I am a biology teacher in the real world, so to say, for over 20 years now, 24 years, and biology can be sometimes a little bit dry in school because we have to cover a syllabus and so on. Yeah, so there is lots of note taking, lots of theory, and sometimes this how do you say this natural sense of exploration and nature observation sometimes might become a little bit lost in a classroom setting, and therefore I decided to go back to the roots and really try to do that what is actually that what biology should also be about, which is observing nature and having a little bit of a curiosity here. Okay. My little brother made my eyepiece dirty. What can I do for it? Okay, dirty eyepieces are okay, are not so difficult. What you need is the following: you need alcohol, concentrated alcohol. Okay, it's not a big problem. Eyepieces do become dirty because and you have those Q-tips, and what you do is you put a little bit of alcohol, not on the eyepiece but on the Q-tip here. I mean, this is some alcohol, and then you carefully rotate it, and you kind of can clean off any dirt that is on there, right? You can also use a brush like this to clean microscope optics, So there are several ways. Just make sure that you don't scratch it too much. Shower wash face every day. If not these and other bacteria, there are plenty of bacteria. Okay. Demodex related to scabies. Scabies. That's an interesting one. If let's see. I've got to Google now. If scabies if there are also mites, then yes. But actually, they're not scabies. Let me quickly, yes, maybe somebody can check if scabies, if they are mites or insects, okay? If it's just dust, then you can use an air pump. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We live with them symbiotically. They can be found in our follicles. Yes. Okay. So what I would like to do. Is I would like to now show you a little bit of how you can extract a face mite. Okay, here it is, the one. Yeah, I know it's a little bit blurry, but later on I'm going to put a cover glass on it, but I don't want to do that right now because every time when you put a cover glass on something, it might be you might lose it again. And what you need is actually quite easy. And I'm going to show you a slightly different method than in my other YouTube videos. I think a much more efficient method. You do need, of course, always a tape. And you know what? I'm going to show you my desk again, which is a little bit messy. Okay. And what I've got here is I've got some tape. But what you want to do is you do not want to, you want to make sure that you don't touch the tape there where you collect, because over here where you have the fingerprint, actually you will have a lot of skin cells from your finger. Okay, and you don't want that. Okay, and it's also less sticky now. So when you take some tape, then you make sure that you essentially don't touch the center part. Okay, yeah. And what you do next is you fold it around. Okay, like this, and you hold it. Yeah, in my case, I'll hold it here with my left hand now. Here on the bottom, sticky side on the outside, and I have not touched this round part here. Okay, and now in order to collect the face mites, you have to do the following. And you can try to do that with your fingers, or look what I got here. I got those tweezers here, and these are actually tweezers that are used by people who collect stamps. Yeah, those postage stamps. So for actually taking postage stamps, and I got this also because some people like to use those to pick up cover glasses. Yeah, if you want to make permanent mounts and you don't want to touch it with your fingers, you can use those as well. Yeah, you can use those now also, and now you have to do the following. It's a little bit difficult to see. You try to grab your some eyelashes. Okay, it's difficult to see, but you can grab some of the lower eyelashes. You can also do it with your fingers. And what you do is you carefully pull and you rotate. Okay? You carefully pull and you rotate. And what's going to happen is that the face mites, which are now in the follicle, because of the pulling and the rotation, are squeezed out of the follicle. The follicle is the place where the hair starts to grow out. Yeah? So you carefully pull. And you rotate. And I did not invent this, but actually I saw another YouTube video where a doctor pulled out the individual face mites this way by actually using also a tweezer and by pulling out carefully pulling each eyelash and rotating it, and this kind of squeezed out the face mites. Okay, this is something that I'm therefore also doing. I'm kind of carefully pulling, and then you kind of rotate a little bit. Of course, you don't want to rip out the eyelashes. And then I did the following. And then I basically, here's the tape, okay? And I went into the tape to give it some kind of support like this, right? It's like a loop, kind of, yeah? Yeah. And then I went there again, and I really pressed there at the skin. Yeah, there where the hair comes out of the skin, and to kind of collect whatever I've got there. Okay. Now I'm almost certain, so don't be disappointed. I'm almost certain that I won't find any here, because you need to check maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them to be able to find one. Okay, but I just wanna. But I've actually prepared something over there, so I can show it to you. Yeah. So, but that is essentially. I've also tried doing it over here with the eyebrows, pulling it a little bit and rotating it. Yeah, but the hair density is so high that it's difficult to actually go all the way to the skin. Yeah, so again, I will carefully try to pull my eyelashes. Yeah. And this method is actually significantly more efficient than the other method that I showed you in my YouTube videos, where I simply put some tape here on the forehead for half an hour. Yeah, I found more this way. Okay, I know this looks a little bit ridiculous, and I'm normally doing this in front of the mirror. Yeah. And then you're of course going to see that there is it's greasy, and maybe there's some hair on here and skin cells. Yeah. Again, I would be rather surprised if I were to find something here. Okay. Sometimes you can also try it on. I think it's easier for me to do it another time here. Okay. It's not so easy. So that, again, don't forget the 3 rules of collecting face mites: patience, patience, and patience. Okay. And let's do another following. I'm going to now take a slide. And what you now do is this sticky side to the surface, to the top, I mean, and you take some additional tape, And what you do is now you put the tape across it like this, so that the sticky side points upwards. Okay, because if there are any face mites on here, then yeah, I want to have them accessible, and yeah. So, and then this goes directly under the microscope, and we're going to have a look at it. But again, don't be disappointed. I would be rather surprised if I were to find something here. That's the one, yeah, that I still have here. Okay, so let's put it away for later maybe. And let's put now the tape on here. And I'm going to show you now how this looks like. It's of course way too bright. And you see a lot of dots here, and these are all skin cells. Okay. So, and what you need to do now is you now need to be really patient and scan. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We got one. We got one. I cannot believe this. I've been searching for face mites, I don't know, for hours just to prepare for this live stream, and I'm doing a demonstration. I'm not expecting to find one, and after 1 minute I've already got one here. This is unbelievable. No, honestly, this is really yeah, that's a face mite. Here we go. It's okay. No, honestly, I'm absolutely absolutely stunned. Okay. Yeah. I cannot believe this. Okay. So no, this is yeah. I was really a little bit when I decided to make this face mite live stream today in the morning. That is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hopefully I'm gonna find some, you know. And yeah, you see that sometimes it's really you're crazy. Okay, let's go up a little bit with the magnification. Okay. Okay, this is yeah, definitely, yeah, this is a beautiful. This is a pretty large one even. Okay, so let's if you look very carefully, it's moving as well. Okay, it's moving as well. I've got some arrows here, an arrow over here. Okay, you're able to see again that it's the head. You've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 yeah, legs, 4 on the other side. Yeah, and then the body. Yeah, yeah. Very nice specimen here. And what I'm gonna do next is I want to actually get it off this slide, off the tape, onto a clean microscope slide. Okay, so this is kind of the next task that I want to do, but I'm not going to do that too quickly. I want to enjoy this view a little bit, because when I pick it off, there's always the danger that I'm going to end up losing it. This always happened. Yeah, because it's so tiny, obviously, so I have to take it with a pipette and have to take it off, and then there's always the danger of kind of losing it somewhere. Yeah, so I got to be careful here. But I'm going to go back to the comments. Yeah, again. Yeah, so I'm going to read everything. Yeah, hello. Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, people are saying hello. Yeah. They're not related from that standpoint. Okay, we're talking about scabies and yeah. No, tardigrades are different again here. Yeah. So yeah, hello back. So I'm just reading through the comments here. I'm just skipping over. This is a fantastic Saturday night session for me. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So. Okay. Well, yeah, what's what in that long body? So there's a question basically what you can find in the body. That I don't know so much about the internal anatomy of a face mite. The only thing that I know is that they're unusual in that they don't have a complete digestive system, so they're not expelling anything. So somehow I guess they're growing and growing, but I wonder where actually the waste is going. Yeah. Yeah. So. Mites have regulatory role as feedback mechanisms for regulating sebum secretion. So the question is could they actually somehow regulate sebum secretion? Basically, sebum is the secretions from the oil and the fats from the skin. Let's put it this way. I would like to quote now one of my university professors back in the day. This was kind of the answer every time when he did not know an answer to a question. The question is now, are they actually also somehow able to kind of feedback and regulate the amount of fat and oil that's being produced? And the professor said, if something in nature is conceivable, possible, if you consider it, is it possible that this takes place somewhere, then the chances are pretty good that somewhere in nature you're going to find it like that. Yeah, because nature is so diverse. So if it is conceivable that the face might somehow have an impact on the secretion of sebum, then why not? I would even say probably would make sense that those species or those individuals that are able to stimulate maybe the secretion of sebum by the skin, maybe they have even a survival advantage. Okay, so in that sense, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So yeah, cucumber. That's a nice way of saying it. Okay. So that is epic and okay. Yeah, I think it's really a world record. Honestly, yeah. This was yeah. So how big is a face mite? They're tiny. I don't know now in millimeters. I think significantly less than a millimeter, but actually I was able to see it as a small dot or line on a microscope slide. Okay, so what I would like to do now is the following. This is where we're going to be. It's going to be really challenging. Okay, and this might not work. Okay, so let's not be disappointed if it doesn't work. But I would like to pick it off the slide. Okay, and in order to do that, I'm going to use some oil, some vegetable oil, some cooking oil. I tried to do that with water and it didn't work because the cells, the skin cells that you see here in the background, they are fatty, of course, right? Yeah, so where's this? Okay. I can't do that. Just a second. Yeah, here now the arrow. Yeah, so all of those skin cells in the background, they're oily. The face mite itself is fatty, and therefore, if of course add water, then it's not going to be picked up by the water very well. And for this reason, I decided to do that with oil, and this actually did work. Okay, and however, as I mentioned before, this is a high risk, a high risk undertaking, and I'm going to now take the risk that I'm actually going to lose it. Okay, the face mite. Okay, so I'm just saying. So therefore, I prepared some videos and some other things so that we're able to observe them in any case. But I would like to pick it off. And also because I simply want to demonstrate to you how this actually works. So what I got here is I got a microliter pipette. This one, how much was it? Around 30 euros or so. They can be super expensive. Maybe I'm just going to show it to you here. Okay, they can be quite expensive and they can cost several hundred euros or dollars. But this one was a pretty cheap one and good enough for my purposes. Yeah, you can adjust the volume by turning this here. Okay, you might already know that, or have seen me that I've got another one, a slightly larger one, but this one was too large. It's up to milliliters, right? And so therefore I bought myself a new one. The tips here can be exchanged by pressing this button over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to simply take up a little bit of oil, kitchen oil, vegetable oil, cooking oil, okay, using the pipette. And that's it. Okay. And now I switch back to the microscope. And now you're probably going to see me disappear out of this circle here, but you're still able to hear me, okay? Because I've got the how do you call this, the headset. But I have to go over to the microscope now, and you can actually see in the other corner, what I'm actually doing, okay? And I'm switching over to the microscope scene. I'm going to flip away the polarization thingy here. Let's move this a little bit to the side so that it's I have a little bit more space. And now this is the thing is I'm going to put a small drop of oil. I'm going to try to put a small drop of oil on the face mite, and then I'm going to try to suck it up again. Okay, so think I might have a little bit too much oil for that any case, so I'm going to put a little bit back. Okay, so let's have a try. And in order for stability, I'm going to put the tip on the on the slide on the tape. Okay, simply for stability. So I'm going to carefully move forward. Here is the tip. Press. Okay. Okay, so it's still there. I did not suck it up yet. I'm gonna do that, just later. But there's one interesting thing that you're probably gonna realize now. Look what happened to the skin cells. The skin cells are not visible anymore because the refractive index is too similar, and therefore they appear to disappear. But the face mite itself is still quite nicely visible. Okay, so I recommend that, especially if you've got a lot of skin cells. Oh, it seems to be moving. Especially if you have a lot of skin cells present, then adding a little bit of oil on the sticky side of the tape actually makes the skin cells transparent. And this is a much easier way than actually also to see the face mite. Okay, it's kind of drifting away with the oil. Okay. I might be able to go up one more higher with the magnification. Yeah, see, now it's starting to move. It likes the oil. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to suck it up, and I'm going to try to transfer it to a clean microscope slide. Well, actually, thinking about it, the problem with the clean, I have to transfer it to a clean microscope slide because I want to put a cover glass on top so that I can go up with the magnification. Okay, I cannot put a cover, I mean, I don't know. Thinking about it, I mean, you know what I'm going to try? You see, there is one advantage that this has. The advantage is that there is the tape present, and the tape and kind of gives it some grip so that it's able to move. If it's on a smooth microscope slide, then it's not able to move because it's slippery. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to pick it up. Maybe I'm just going to put the cover glass directly on top. Okay, might also be a possibility. Yeah, I don't know what I should do. Either try to pick it off with the risk of actually losing it, or trying to just look at it like this. But I cannot go up with the magnification because there's no cover glass, and I don't want to get any oil on the objective. Okay, but as we look at it, it's trying to move forward. Look at this. Yeah, as we look at it, I'm going to look again at a few questions. Can I ask an unrelated question? I've collected some beetles, Rosenkäfer, and preserved them in ethanol, 80%. Most of them sank, but a handful kept floating. Will it cause problems? If they float, then this could be a sign that maybe there is air inside the insect. Okay? And if there is air inside the insect, then the ethanol does not contact all of the parts. So I would say not the floating is the problem, but rather the fact that there is air in there, which could be a sign that the ethanol does not reach all parts. Okay, so in that sense, I wouldn't say it automatically causes problems, but it could be a sign that maybe not everything is properly immersed. Yeah? Beginner's question: when I create a specimen sample, onion, flour, etc., and put it on the slide and drop the water drop over it, it doesn't cover it, but goes around. Sometimes even pushes the sometimes even pushes the specimen away. This can happen. Sometimes, if the specimen and the water are really not compatible, I give you an extreme case: bird feathers. Bird feathers are fatty and oily, and water is obviously not. And in this case, it really doesn't want to mix. In this case, try to use, just like I'm doing right now, just vegetable oil as a mounting medium. Okay, so this is simply something that I would like to recommend here. Okay. Wait, that's in my face. Well, if you are very young, then there are fewer of them in your face. And if you're older, what I read is pretty much every older person has them, almost 100% of the population. So, yeah. So they are basically symbionts. They're just living in there, not doing anything. Yeah. Yeah. Any specimen up so it floats instead of being inside. Any tips to deal with cases like this? In the case, what I've done, for example, with onion skin, what sometimes helps is the following: that you put this onion skin first between the cover glass and the slide, completely dry, and then you add water later on from the side, and then the water is sucked in by capillary action, and then sometimes it spreads better. Okay, so this is a possibility. This guy is pretty active. Okay. Assume that face mites lay eggs, right? Should they also be invisible when you squeeze them from eyelashes? They're too small to be able to see. Okay, they're really tiny, and you need a microscope. Huh? Yeah, it's not really harmful. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Do they only live on the face, or is it just their name? They have been identified mostly in the face, and I think the reason is because there are lots of oil glands there, right? So I think that could be the reason. Yeah. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if you're able to find maybe some of them also in other parts of the body. Yeah. Maybe the head. I don't know. Yeah. So let me go through. I think you should put the droplet of water on the slide first and then put the specimen inside the droplet. Yep, okay. Those bugs are preserved in ethanol. Okay. Okay. Let me quickly scan through. There are lots of comments, okay? So you know what I'm going to do now? Now that we've looked at it, I'm still going to try this, even taking the risk that it might not work. Okay. So I'm going to try to suck it up now with my pipette. And I'm going to try to put it on a separate slide, and then, yeah, let's simply try it like that, because this way, yeah, let's just try it. Yeah. Because, should I really do that? Because I would like to see it move around. I think you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply try something new. I'm just going to not take it off. I'm going to simply add a cover glass directly. Okay? Because, yeah, maybe if we find another one, we can try that. Because this way, we're able to, it's going to have a little bit of a better grip, and it's less risky, because if I indeed lose it, then we don't have anything interesting to observe. Yeah. So let's make it dark a little bit. Yes, again, what you see over here is the following. Yeah, this here is, of course, the oil drop, the face mite, and all of those dots here are my skin cells. Okay, yeah, and yeah, you see that the oil and the skin make the oil kind of makes the skin cells so transparent that you don't see them, and this kind of increases the contrast with the face mite. But you know what I'm gonna do, just for the interest's sake, I mean, I now know where this one is, but maybe there's another one as well somewhere. I don't know. Let's quickly scan through it. If we find one, maybe we're lucky enough to find another one. But the day has been saved. Cannot believe it. I don't know about this one over here. What is I don't know what this here is. No, that could it be? No, that's too irregular. Okay. Let's quickly have another look. Yep, that's the one from before. And obviously, when there are less skin cells, then of course we can assume that the chance of actually also having a face mite there is also smaller. Yeah. I don't see anything here. Oh. Are you kidding me? Let me have another look. Yup, we got another one. Okay, look, yeah, so, yeah, here's another one. Put in DIC. Yep, here we go. Here's another one. Okay. Honestly, we're pretty lucky because normally I had to check 2 or 3 or 4 samples of tapes until I found one. But here I seem to have been quite lucky. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, so you get the idea. Yeah, 2 face mites simply from one collection. Yeah, trial. You know what I'm gonna do then is maybe I am going to try now that I know that there is one over here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to try to pick this one up after all. I can take the risk now, and otherwise I'm just going to put the cover glass directly over the other one. Okay, let's try it like that. Who cares? So, okay. Let's see again if this works. Yep, it's still there. You see, this was not very effective. Maybe there's too much oil still on the tip. So, let's give it another try. And suck. Did I suck it up? I don't know. So, let's have a look. I hope that it's on here now. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Let's carefully put the other slide away. And let's see if we're able to find something here. Nope. I don't see it. Okay, so that's basically what I meant. It's a little bit risky, this whole business, because you might actually end up losing it. So what I'm going to do is maybe it is still in the pipette. This could be a possibility. So I'm going to take it up again and down again. Okay, let's try it again. And here it is. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, we got it now. Okay, here it is again. And still moving. Yeah. The reason why the image quality is a little bit better directly on the microscope slide, of course, because you don't have the disturbing plastic tape and glue. Yeah. But then again, yeah, it's not able to move forward quite as easily. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm again a little bit relieved that I was able to isolate it, yeah, and to transfer it to a slide now. So I'm going to go through the comments again as a little pause for me. Yeah. It came from his eyelash follicle. Yep, we all have them. I think you should put the droplet of water on the slide first and then put the specimen inside the droplet. This refers to a previous question. Okay. Yep. Okay. I saw it move. I see the mite clearly. I think it also reduces the visible glue. It looks cleaner. Yes, that's correct. I'm loving this. Very interesting and educational. Thank you from Scotland. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's still moving. Yep. And maybe you could wash the mite first and then put it in U-Pearl. So basically the question is if I should make a permanent mount. I could try to do that. That should be possible, but I don't know how delicate it is. And because there is a solvent in the mounting medium, it could actually be that this causes the mite actually to shrink either, or maybe to dissolve, because some solvents actually they break open the cells. So I've not tried this because I didn't have so many face mites yet, but this is something that's possible. Yeah. I vote to put a cover glass to increase magnification. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so there is now no risk of losing it. There is the only risk that we have is squashing it. Look, it's still moving. Okay, and let's do that. Okay, so you see over here, this is the droplet of oil and a whole bunch of dust. The rainbow colors, by the way, is because of the polarization settings that I have, DIC. And maybe I'm going to add a little bit more oil. Maybe I'm going to add it. Otherwise, there is really the danger that I'm going to squash it. Okay, because the oil will spread under the cover glass, and yeah. So I'm going to add a bit more oil here. Okay, and yeah, let's add a cover glass, hoping that the cover glass, as I lower it on the oil, does not push it completely out to the side. And yep, so yep, I can demo. That's basically those tweezers. I rarely use them for this purpose, but those tweezers are basically were made so that you can actually, yeah, put it on, yeah, using like this. Okay, and now let's have a look. Of course, we have to find it again now, because it could be not anywhere beneath the cover glass, and I already see it. Here it is at the top. Here it is. So it did not move too far away. This is now again the 4x, the low power objective. So let's go. Now we can go up with the magnification. It also compresses the face mite a little bit, and therefore the depth of field is also a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So, and 40 times. Let's put the arrow away. The arrow is not so nice. Okay. Yep. As a matter of fact, this one is a pretty active one. This is a pretty active one. And something where that I can also do is I'm going to go up yet further. I'm all the way up to 60 times. Even though the distance is now really small between. Maybe I'm going to open it, the condenser a little bit, and lower the light intensity. Yup. And yeah, so here we go. And again, we're able to look a little bit into the body. I'm actually quite happy. Because I did not expect it. I did not expect it to work that well. Especially, I did not expect to find, just with this quick demonstration, to find already 2 of them. That's why I actually prepared videos and a separate slide, and so because I was kind of worried that I'm not able to find one. And to my surprise, this actually worked out quite nicely. You see that, yeah, this one is actually significantly shorter as well. And one of the things is that yeah, it seems to be segmented. Yeah, so basically you're able, now it's stretching. Segmented means that you are able to see those tiny little lines here. Yeah. So let's move it a little bit where I'm able to see it better again. Let's put the arrow again somewhere away. Yup. So the only reason I bought a microscope, okay, because of my inspiration. Well, I hope, yeah. Sorry, Oliver, your sound reverb is not the best. Okay. Okay, thank you for saying it. I'm going down now with the sound volume. Is this better? I went down now with the volume. So maybe, yeah, maybe there's less distortion. Okay. Okay. Okay, so some people are saying that it's fine. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, good. The reason is I cannot hear myself because I switched off the speakers, because otherwise, because there is a short delay when I say something, there is a short delay of a few seconds until you are able to hear it. So because the system is buffering, and therefore I have to switch off my my speakers. Yeah? But look, now we're able to look into the body itself. There are these tiny little circles in there. I don't know what they do or what they're good for. Yeah. Yup. I'm happy. So, what else is there? So if people have acne, they should get some face mites to eat up all of that oil. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if well, when I was younger, like many people who basically have problems, I of course also had acne. I tried all sorts of things. I tried, I don't know, all of these creams, and none of this really worked. But the only thing that really also gave me a less itchy feeling and kind of really improved it is by not using soap and simply washing my face with very hot water. Not burning hot water, of course, but it was very hot, quite warm water. And this kind of also opened up the pores and removed all of the oil and the fat. Yeah, and was quite soothing for the skin, because if you start to use too much soap and if you start to remove the using the oil, using soap for example, then it can be that the own body starts to overproduce oils again. Yeah, and if you're using too much even disinfectant soap, then there's also the danger that you kind of starting to destroy the natural bacterial flora of your skin, and those bacteria are actually also important. Yeah. So at least for me, what worked well for getting the acne and these things sorted out was actually washing my face without soap but with hot water, a couple of times a day. And yeah. Do you have concave glass slides? It might work in this case. Yeah, I had. Yeah, I occasionally do use concave glass slides, but in this case, the face mite is so small that and the distance of the concave glass slide is so large that I think I would completely lose it. I think. Yeah? So I find the concave glass slides are useful. For example, for making, and that's a kind of a specific one, so-called hanging drop specimens. And basically this means that you have a cover glass, yeah, and what you do is you put the specimen on a drop, okay, bacteria for example, and then what you do is you invert it and the drop is hanging, and then there's a concave glass slide. So basically the specimen is in contact with air around it, and you can seal off the edge of the slide. So basically what you have is you have like a micro aquarium, so to say, with a tiny hanging drop. And this has also been used apparently back in the day in the 19th century and so. Yeah, for preparing some specimens, because it does not evaporate as quickly. Yeah, so for these specific applications, you have those concave slides, but I think the Demodex Face Mite is way too small for that. Okay, so it would be completely lost in the large comparatively large volume of the concave slide. Yeah, yeah. So. Why is it that most modern microscopes don't have a field diaphragm? Okay. Short answer, because it reduces cost. The field diaphragm is the following. I'm able to close it, and it's not quite centered right now, but you're able to see that I'm able to. Yeah, let's center it so that you're able to see it better. Okay, so I can center the condenser. Okay, and the reason is that the field diaphragm is not absolutely necessary all the time. And by raising and lowering the condenser, I'm able to focus the edges, okay? It's called Köhler illumination here. And then I'm able to open it just enough that I don't see the edge. And basically what the advantage is now is that light will only illuminate that part of the specimen that is actually only looked at. And this also prevents overheating of the slide. And it also reduces stray light. So yeah, most or many, let's put it this way, pretty much all research microscopes have a field diaphragm, but most lower or routine microscopes, they don't have that because in most cases it is not needed. And it simply adds a cost and a layer of complexity that sometimes is not needed. Yeah, so I mean, you can judge yourself. I mean, let's turn up the light a little bit, and you're probably going to see whether it's closed or completely open. Yeah, now it's completely open. The contrast is not so much different for this specimen here. Yeah, so it's now, yeah, this here now compared to this here, you see there is a minimal difference. Yeah, for some specimens, it is actually much more important. And because you're asking, Köhler also had historically a very important role, because at that time, back in the day with the early microscopes, there were lots of internal reflections in the optics. So the surface coatings of the lenses were not quite as good yet. So there were lots of stray light and lots of internal reflections. And in order to get the contrast, you actually needed Köhler, yeah? With a field diaphragm. Yeah, but in the meantime, the optics are so good that essentially you don't have as much stray light, and then there's also not an absolute need to have a field diaphragm. Okay. The way we drink live probiotic cultures. Yeah. So every time when we eat yogurt, for example, we are eating bacteria. Okay. Do you have concave type of glass slide? Oh, I already read that. Okay, another one. Yeah, so that lash twisting worked like a charm. Yep. Okay. Proactive solution fixed my acne problem. Okay. Yep. Have to try this method. Kids will love it. Is this 3D view phase contrast? No. That's a good question. No, this is DIC. It's differential interference contrast. And my microscope has that because I make YouTube videos and people want to see color. And I'm able to do all sorts of things like this here. I'm able to adjust the color because by sliding a prism, and this kind of makes a dull black-white image a little bit more colorful. And it does look 3D, but this 3D appearance, it does not really mean, and that's an important thing, that's the actual three-dimensional shape. Okay, so most people who don't have any fancy contrasting equipment will use bright field, and in bright field it will look like this. So for most people, unless you use dark field, and it will look like this. Okay, still good. Okay. So, but then there was the question right now, what about phase contrast? I do have one phase contrast objective. It's a 40 times. So this here is now 40 times not phase contrast. Okay. This is just the DIC. And I'm going to now show you, just for the sake of comparison, how phase contrast looks like. You're going to see it's probably not the best specimen for phase contrast. Just going to show you in any case. So I'm quickly going to rotate the other 40 times objective in place, which is on the other side here. And I have to also change the phase contrast annulus. And where is this? This one, that's phase contrast now. Okay. And I have to go up with the light, and that is now phase contrast. Okay. It's not dark field, it's phase contrast. Okay. Just because, there's been the question. Uh, yeah, you just broke your own new world record with 2 times samples in such a short time. And indeed, honestly, yes, this is something that, yeah, even in the previous videos, I made a few face mite videos already, but even in my previous videos, I did not, I was not able to find 2 of them on the same piece of tape taken from the eyelashes like this. But this actually shows that this pulling of the eyelashes and taking it directly from there is actually a good method. Yeah. So yeah, that's real microbe hunting. Why not take both of the face mites? Maybe they will mate. I don't know if they do that. Yeah, they might mate. I know that what they do is at night they come out and they will actually mate outside, and then they will actually go back in again into the hair follicles. Yeah. So okay. Yep, I quickly read some more comments here. Oh my gosh, I forgot where I left off here. Okay. According to Google, the mite's digestive system is so efficient and results in so little waste that there is no excretory orifice. Ah, thank you for researching this. Yeah. So basically, the face mites they don't have they don't have an anus, so to say. They have a mouth to eat, but the question is now is why is that? And somebody researched this now that essentially apparently all of the food is optimized optimally burned up because it's feeding on this on the oil. So I can imagine maybe the digestive system is optimized so much that the enzymes that essentially there's nothing left over. Huh? When looking for interesting water specimens, I usually take a large drop of water with a pipette and divide it over 8 or 10 small droplets on the slide to scan at low magnification. Yep, sometimes what I do, you got to be careful with this. Sometimes what I also do is I don't even add a cover glass, but I simply put some droplets there simply to check if something is there in the first place. And if there's nothing interesting there, simply take some tissue paper and wipe it off, and then I just reuse the slide. Okay. If I find something interesting, I reabsorb the other drops of water. Okay, yeah. That's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Great detail. The tail looks like it's ribbed. Yeah, these are the exactly, this ribbing seems to be like the segments a little bit. Yeah. Probably it helps the mites to cling onto the inside of the hair follicle. Ah, that could be. That those little lines that you see might maybe increase the frictions for actually moving inside the hair follicle. That's quite well possible. There's another reason why I'm so happy with this specimen here, because this guy is really moving a lot. I've got, basically the other specimens that I collected today in the morning, essentially they were moving much more slowly. That's why I had to do the how do you call this, the time lapse. This one over here is quite nice. Huh? If the mite is an oil eater, then it is heaven now, surrounded by oil. That could be. I mean, obviously, it's not the same type of oil that you find in the skin. The thing that kind of surprises me a little bit is I don't know. Is what about the oxygen? I mean, this is surrounded by oil, but essentially, why is it not running low on oxygen? And there seems to be an interesting explanation for this. Is that oxygen, O2 gas, actually is hydrophobic. So that's one of the reasons why oxygen does not dissolve so well in water. But I can imagine that maybe the oxygen of the air is actually able to dissolve or diffuse quite well into the oil. Because the oil is hydrophobic and oxygen O2 gas is also hydrophobic. That's, by the way, that's the reason why we need red blood cells and hemoglobin to transport oxygen in our blood, because the oxygen does not dissolve so well in the water, in the blood plasma itself. So this is actually also one of the things where I was kind of wondering, why is it able to get the oxygen? From where is it able to get the oxygen? And I think that might be the possible explanation. Yep. Yeah, amazing detail seen with the cover glass. It is 40 times now. So let's go back to 60 times. I have to change always for optimum contrast, and so I have to always adjust the condenser as well. Then you always try to find the best. Yeah. Yeah. So, so what else do we have here? Are the small round openings, maybe these are not openings, but some round structures, are these oil reserves? Could be, I don't know. I really don't know. I think you're referring to those round things in the body. Yeah. Yeah. The question is, what are they? Huh? Could they be oil reserves? Yeah, why not? Yeah, but I really I don't know. And what you normally would do is, in this case, is you would actually prepare the face mite and use different stains. So there are certain stains that stain specifically oils, and if you see that those become dark, then you probably know that these are fat reserves. Yeah, so you'd have to do some kind of selective staining, yeah, here. Yeah, I think its mouth is moving. Yep, it is, clearly. When we see our skin break out, it's an indication of skin cells growing out of retinol vitamin A did help down regulate the inflammatory. Yes, okay. Yeah. People are already giving the face mites some names here. Yeah. What type of micropipette do you have? A P1000, P200, or P20? Okay, that's also one. I originally bought myself a 1000 microliter one, which is fine. I'm happy with that. It has those large blue tips. I gotta get one of those. All right, yeah, those large blue ones, and they're good for picking up water samples. And usually, what I've done is I usually took some scissors and cut the tips off to take larger samples. But I found this one to be too large and the opening here in front also too large to actually pick up individual cells or mites or so. And that is the reason why a few days ago I bought myself here. This is a 50 microliter one, 5 to 50 microliters. Yeah. Here, it says, I don't know if you're able to read it. For me, it's not the microliters that is so important, yeah, but actually I wanted to use the yellow, the smaller tips, yeah, because the diameter of the opening is also smaller, and this gives you a little bit more. Yeah, otherwise there was the danger in the past that when I pressed, when I wanted to add a little bit more water to the cover glass under the microscope slide, and I pressed this, then all of a sudden too much water came out. Huh? And everything got flooded. And with the smaller pipette, 5 to 50 microliters, I can press, have a large distance to push it in, and only a small amount of water, or in this case, oil, is moved in and out. And this is the reason why it's also easier for me to pick up objects this way. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So. This guy seems to be doing quite fine, huh? Did I make a cross-polarized setup by myself, or no? It's in this case, it's a built-in feature because I've got this DIC microscope. So there is it's a little more complex. It's not just on pure cross-polarization, but there is also some kind of a prism up there. So it's a little bit more fancy, but you can actually use basically cheap polarization filter also to make your own polarization microscope. In my other channel, I actually made some videos on how I experimented with that. But in this case, it's actually a built-in feature that I have. So, was this three-dimensional view you have before a cross-polarization of phase contrast? It was DIC. It's called differential interference contrast. And this gives a little bit this synthetic 3D view. I say synthetic because it's not, this 3D view does not really represent the real shape. If you like this type of 3D view, then I recommend that you experiment first with so-called oblique illumination, which is a very simple filter, and that you kind of put off the center a little bit, and then you also have light shining from one side. And this gives a very similar, or a somewhat similar appearance without the color, though. Yeah. So, yeah. I always use blue as a background because it kind of simulates water. Because red kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks, yeah, strange. I'll tell you a little secret. If you watch my older videos on this channel, if you watch some, and many of the images kind of looked a little bit like a grayish. It didn't have this color. It was very grayish. It looked a little bit 3D, but it looked kind of grayish, a little bit like this. Yeah. And I was always kind of surprised. Where is the color? Why can I not get the color? But in reality, I had a wrong setting. There is a little wheel that you can turn on the bottom with a polarizer, and I had simply the wrong setting, and that's why I could not get any colors. And I simply readjusted everything. So what is my advice? You got to read the instruction manual. didn't properly read the instruction manual, and that's why I for several months. Yeah, I used the wrong settings. Yeah. So, yeah, specimen indeed. You can build it yourself. Actually, always has made a video about DRC cross polarization. Yes, I did it for photography with a microscope lens, and it works really well. Yeah. Essentially, I think that's one of the first things that I would actually try because it's so easy and cheap to make. The cross-polarized thing, and you can really get a really nice images, especially when you're growing some crystals under the microscope. Yeah, I made videos on this. Yeah, and what time is it? It's already 1 hour and 11. I noticed that the control condenser diaphragm is one of the crucial elements to create sharper images in DSC. Yep. So essentially, there is a prism in the condenser. There's a prism at the top. The prisms all over the place, and that is they basically are required to get this image like that. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Oop. I kind of lost the because I'm reading at the same time the comments. Yeah. So that's why I'm pausing a little bit. This specimen is called Demodex folliculorum. There are different species. There's also, I think, Demodex brevis. I don't know which one it is. I have to be honest, but there are a few differently characterized species. That have been. I don't know to what extent they have already done DNA studies on those, right? Or to what extent the classification is based only on morphology, on their shape. Yeah. So, or the mite spits out the stuff that it can't digest. That's possible, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. How do Demodex reproduce? Well, actually, what I read is that they actually do mate and produce eggs. Okay. Don't ask me how this works. Yeah. But that would be certainly something interesting as well. Beginner's question. Is it always better for an image quality's sake to use some kind of liquid or water to cover the specimen with it when using a microscope, or would it be better to have it dry? Well, as a general rule, you have to use a liquid. And as a more specific rule, the type of liquid is even important. The refractive index, it's the refractive index that's important. What you can try to do is indeed you can try to take, let's say, a piece of paper, let's say tissue paper, where there are the fibers, and try to look at it under the microscope without any liquid, and then add some water, add some oil, and you're going to see a big difference. So generally, the mounting medium, the liquid, is very important, and that's actually one of the reasons also why there are so many different ones. Because for different specimens, strictly speaking, if you really want to optimize everything, you actually need different mounting media with a different refractive index to get the best contrast and the best clarity. Yeah. And I just used here, basically cooking oil. Why did I do that? Well, because I knew that, or I assumed that the cooking oil is not going to harm the face mite, and also because that's basically the natural environment is oil and fat. Yeah, and that was also one of the ways how I could get it off, because some months ago I actually tried to take it off using some water, and it wouldn't work. Yeah, it would simply be yeah. It wouldn't stay in the water because it's oily, yeah? And oil and water don't mix. Yeah? So, according to Cleveland Clinic publication, 2 main species of Demodex are on humans. Yeah, and predators. Yes, exactly. Yeah, maybe face mites store fat in their tails like sheep do. Yeah, possible. Or maybe they don't need to store so much fat because they're surrounded by it all the time. Even I don't know. Yeah, but it could be. Yeah. Different species usually live in smaller hair follicles, especially your eyelashes. They eat skin cells. Okay, here we go. They eat me. Usually lives near oil glands and hair follicles. They eat sebum, a greasy substance made by the oil glands. Yep. Do they eat skin cells? Somebody's asking. I'm saying why not? We know that dust mites, for example, that they eat skin cells as well, and found in dust. I mean, it can make sense that those are animals that they recycle and use everything usable that they're able to get. Huh? Okay. Yeah, have you ever thought about making your own microscope brand? I'm sure you could come up with a great beginner scope with really interesting features. As a matter of fact, interesting question. The short answer is yes. And indeed, I have already been contacted by a manufacturer for microscopes whether I would like to make my own brand. I ultimately decided not to, because there are already so many microscopes out there. Essentially, it would work like this, that the company would make them and I would rebrand them. But then I don't have any quality control over them, because it's essentially I just slap my own brand label on it and then it would be resold using my name. And this would be, I think, something I have considered, but I would say probably too, how do you say, too elaborate for me. I'm currently too much involved also in simply in applying microscopy and making videos and live streams and the educational part and so on. And maybe I'm just gonna leave up the hardware part to those people who are experts on that. Yeah, actually, it would have been a nice idea, though. I mean, having your own micro, but then again, you're completely dependent on the manufacturer. Yeah. So. Yep. Yeah. Journey to the Microcosms. I know that they are actually selling their own brand. Yeah. Yeah. So it would be a very nice idea. Nikon entry level microscope called Microbehunter edition. Yeah. So, okay, the guy's still moving around. You know what, just for the fun of it, I don't know if, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I put the slide. Let me see. Is this the one? Yeah, this might have been the one. I'm going to put the other one in. Let's see if the other one is still around. Okay. Let's go down. I don't have to admit, I forgot where it is. But for those of you who were here before, this was the oil drop, and somewhere, I don't know, somewhere there was the other one up here, and I don't know where. Yeah. You see, you should always remember the position on the slide so that you're able to rediscover it. Yeah, so this was basically the one where I took the mite from, and then there was somewhere over here I found a second one, and I don't know where. Was it down here? I don't know. Yeah, this was the place where I took. One of the remarkable things, all of those dots are skin cells. Okay. So it just kind of shows a little bit how many skin cells are being lost every day, because new ones are always made. Yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't matter if I don't find the second one again, then that's fine. Not so important. More important to actually know that this method seems to work quite well of collecting. Yeah, yeah. It was in the upper right corner somewhere. Somebody said, "Ah, is it this one? Is it this one here? Yup. Yes, it is. Okay. So that was the other one. One of the interesting things that I found is today in the morning is it didn't one of them that it did not move, and then I added oil on it and then it started to move. Okay, maybe before I stop today, I might simply add a little bit of oil and see how it actually changes. I'm not going to take it off maybe, but I'm going to maybe add a little bit, yeah, a little bit of oil just to see how it responds to the oil. Yeah. Are all of these skin cells dead? Normally they are, because usually the outer layer of skin cells are simply shed off. They are actually a protective layer as well. Yeah, so new cells are made from the bottom, and then the dead cells are being shed off from the top. Yeah. Yeah. I have commented on your last live stream about water bears. I wanted a live stream about diatoms. What about preparation of permanent diatoms too? Okay, I got to read into that a little bit. I've actually done some diatom preparations of fresh diatoms, and you have to boil them in H2O, to hydrogen peroxide, because this removes all of the organic materials and leaves back those nice diatom shells. So this I've tried that. It also works. So you have to take H2O2, and you have to simply take the sample with the diatoms and boil it in, or heat it up at least in this H2O2. It's a little bit aggressive, the substance. You got to be careful. Okay. So you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, because it's almost 1.5 hours again. I'm just going to add a drop of oil here. Okay. And I'm going to directly add a cover glass then. Okay. Yeah. And we're going to see how this works. So, again, a pipette and a bit of oil. And then let's see if adding the cover glass over the tape actually also works. It should work. Okay, but let's see. This one is a little more difficult because it's right at the edge. Okay. I'm pushing the oil. Let's see. Okay, and here we go. So the face mite is now surrounded by oil. You see that immediately, as soon as you add the liquid, the oil, the specimen becomes more clear. Let's go up a little bit with the, yeah. So this kind of already illustrates the importance of some kind of a mounting needle. Oh, I bumped it. Here we go. Did it start moving? Look, it's moving. Yeah. So somehow the oil seems to revive it a little bit. Are the legs moving as well now? Yep, it's starting to move. Okay. So you see, the oil apparently is quite. I don't know. Maybe because it doesn't stick to the surface anymore, that it's able to move better this way, because maybe the oil also kind of takes away the stickiness a little bit. Yeah. Kind of maybe this could be. Should I wash my face before trying to catch a face mite to reduce skin cells on the tape? You could try it out, but my experience has shown that there are so many skin cells on there anyway. What you could try to do is maybe simply apply a little bit of tape first and take it off, and this already removes the top layer of skin cells right away. So Maybe the oil just helps it get free from the glue. I think so as well. I think that maybe the oil might also maybe dissolve with the glue. This could also be, yeah. Yeah, I can see, you can see the outline. Yes, this is also correct. I've also seen this today in the morning, that sometimes it does leave an impression on the glue as well. Yeah. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the risk again, because we've already seen the face mite already. Anyway, I'm going to simply add now directly a cover glass, something I've never done before. So what we've got now is a microscope slide, then the tape, then oil, and now the cover glass basically over the tape. Okay, so we're just going to try that. I don't know if this is I really don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we're just going to experiment a little bit. And of course, this might move the face mite as well. No, it didn't. Okay, quite lucky, but we're able to see the air bubbles and so on. Oh, it did change its shape a little bit. Maybe it got compressed. Let's have a look. We need a little more brightness here. And 40 times. This is actually also quite okay. Huh. 60 times. This is actually also quite interesting to see. Open the condenser a little bit. Yeah, but the DIC colors are a little bit different because of the tape. Because the tape, of course, also changes the polarization around a little bit. Okay. Huh. I actually made some months ago a video where one of them was not really stuck to the tape very strongly, and it was actually crawling around on the tape. Yeah. But now we again, yeah. So we can see that this is also a possibility. So if there's not always a necessity to use a pipette to take it off, but you can also put it directly, yeah, on there. Yeah. Okay, quite interesting. Okay, good observation. Now for the cover glass, yes, it's gone back to where the outline was, yes. Could you look a few millimeters below the mite? There is an object that looks like half of a mite below the mite. Okay, I suppose, just a second, no. Maybe other direction. You know what, I'm going to lower the magnification a little bit, okay? Let's lower the magnification a little bit again. There is something over there. Let's check the thing that's on the... This on the left is not a mite. Okay, let's look a little bit below. Able to see anything here. Of course, maybe the cover glass could have shifted things a little bit, but let's go yet further down with the magnification. Maybe this part over here. Because, okay, what they do is they molt. They actually will shed their skin as they grow. And indeed, this could be, sometimes you are also able to see that, but this doesn't appear to be it. Okay. Let's see if there is, or this is, nah, I don't find it. But occasionally you are able to see some dead mite skin because they were molting. So let's go back here again. And here we are again. This was, I would say this was, I consider this to be a fairly successful live stream. Not all live streams are this successful. Because indeed this is one of the more difficult samples. Yeah? Yeah, now you see the imprint again of the glue. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now, folks, is what 1.5 hours again. I think we're gonna call. I'm gonna call it quits again. Yeah. I want to thank you that you've joined again the live stream. Yeah, I still have to think a little bit on what to show you next week. It's always usually a little bit of a sometimes on short term that I make up my mind, and then sometimes I post a title and a thumbnail to announce a certain live stream, and then I end up changing it again because I decided to actually do something different. As I mentioned already before, actually I wanted to show you today how to extract some pollen from honey using my centrifuge. Yeah, remember this one over here. And I found a lot of things in there, but not pollen. So I decided, that's kind of boring, because I do want to show you something a little bit interesting, you know. And sometimes plants do not always work out the way that they do. Sometimes it works worse, and sometimes it works better than expected, like today. Yeah, but I think yeah, if you have any recommendations, like for example diatom preparation, I can look into that, of course. Yeah. So maybe I'm gonna try that. Maybe I'm gonna think about doing some diatoms. Yeah. So the last comments here. So people are thanking me. Thank you also, of course, back. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna see you again, hopefully next time again. Okay. Just for again organizational purposes, I've always used my other channel to make most live streams, and the reason why I used my other channel is because usually when I talk about photo adapters and optics and so on, it's more the other channel. Right. But then I decided, because I ended up making more and more observation videos like this one over here, I felt that it kind of fits better with the main channel, you know. So you see, I'm struggling a little bit deciding which type of video do I put into what channel. Yeah, but you shouldn't have any problems finding my live streams. I hope. Yeah. I also announce it over the website and sometimes also in the comments. Yeah. So last comments. I should catch a Rosenkäfer myself. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, we do have some prepared insects in school that I might show you. Yeah, last week's pollen I couldn't germinate. Sorry. Okay, do whatever interests you. It's your time and equipment. It's interesting whether you decided whatever I decide to share with you. Yep. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Is that a parasite? Okay, I think you must have joined in. No, you don't call it a parasite as such. It's actually a symbiont. I also wouldn't call it. It's a face mite. For those of you just joined in at the very end, and it's called Demodex. Okay, and with that, I think I'm really going to stop now. I wish you all the best and happy microbe hunting. As always, hope that these videos inspire you also to try it out yourself. Okay. And then if you're successful or so, maybe you can also share some of your tips in the comments in the comments below. Okay, but enough for today. I wish you all the best again, and bye-bye, and happy microbe hunting as always, and see you around.